Hi friends, this is my vintage handbag pattern that's in my other video that I've made. I am going to do a walkthrough so that you know how this beautiful bag is made. It's very simple. I believe even if you're a beginner sewer, you should be able to handle this bag. It takes just a little bit of origami magic, which is a lot of fun. A little bit about this bag. It's this one that we're looking at right here. It is called a Japanese Azumabukuro bag. Azumabukuro bag. Azuma was a town in northeast of Tokyo that I believe that this bag was named after. The style came from there, and Fukuro means bag in Japanese, so Azumabukuro becomes Azumabukuro with a B. Azumabukuro. Anyhow, you probably can't get your hand on this vintage McCall's pattern, so I am going to go ahead and draft a pattern, and you can draft one with me. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. Let's do it. First thing I want to show you, this is the actual pattern. I folded it so it's symmetrical, just asymmetrically aligned. But it is a symmetrical pattern, so there you can cut your fabric on a fold. Well, actually, probably best not to, because if you'll see, this end is symmetrical, this end is not. If you get my idea, they're kind of like mirrored. So that's one piece, and then this is another piece, an inset piece that you're going to put in for reinforcement into the bag, and I'll show you where to put that as well and how to do it. What I'm going to do first is draft a pattern, and you can draft one with me. Okay, so take away this pattern. I've measured all the measurements that I'm going to need, and let's draft up the Azumabukuro bag. Here are the measurements that I've taken. Basically, I'm going to start with a rectangle, 61 centimeters long, 43 centimeters wide. Then what I'm going to do is go at one corner, 45-degree angle, go from the corner to 16 centimeters. At the top, do a perpendicular line of 2 centimeters. Then I'm going to do a gradual, graceful curve all the way to this corner. Gradual, graceful curve 41 centimeters from that corner. And then I'm going to repeat this pattern and then flip it so that the handle, this becomes the handle, is on that other side over here. And this is the inset square, 9.5 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters square. All of these dimensions allow for 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, or 5/8 inch seam allowance. I'm doing this in centimeters because I understand that there are probably a lot more of you out there who work in centimeters rather than in inches, so I'm going to go with centimeters. Sometimes I draft patterns in centimeters, sometimes in inches. For this particular purpose, let's go centimeters. Okay, so let's draft it. Super hack for you guys out there. When I draft patterns, sometimes I have drafting pattern, actual sewing paper. Sometimes I use thin art paper, transparent paper for these purposes. And here's a little hack for you. Old Christmas wrapping paper. If you have rolls of this sitting around, bust out your old Christmas wrapping paper and we can draft a pattern on this side. Actually, this one even has guidelines, which can be kind of helpful. Anyhow, I've had this Christmas wrapping paper sitting around for years, so it's about time that I put it to some kind of different use so that I can, get better, fresher wrapping paper for the holidays. Okay, so let's draft. Remember, paper scissors for paper. Don't use your fabric scissors for paper. You don't want to dull them. Okay, so first thing is I'm going to make my 61 centimeters by 43 centimeters rectangle, and look at that. My quilting ruler only has empirical inches on it, but 24 inches equals 61 centimeters. Isn't that fortuitous? So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that. 61 centimeters right there. And let's just mark that line. Oh, there we go. 61 centimeter line right there. Perfect. Friends, I did my rectangle, 61 centimeters, which happens to be 24 inches for the length, by 43 centimeters, which happens to be 17 inches for the width. 61 by 43, or 24 inches by 17 inches. So get that rectangle first. Okay, so I have my rectangle. Now, the next goal is to add that extension onto one of the corners. It doesn't matter if it's this corner or if it's this corner. You just want to add it onto one of the corners, not onto any other corners. And then keeping the other side, the straight line is going to be the fold line of that pattern. So I'm going to use this corner since I have some paper up here. I didn't have enough paper on this bottom corner. I'm going to do this corner. Okay? Okay, so from this one corner, I want to go 45 degrees outward, like that. Or what is that, 135 degrees to make a line there. Quick tips and hacks. If your paper is transparent, you can just basically fold it like an origami, this line to that line, and the crease that you make here will be the exact 45 that you want. Another hack, if you want, you could just get a protractor and measure that out, or what is a compass and measure that out. You can also do what I'm about to do, which is basically make an internal square. This is just for the pattern making. So I'm going to make a square that's 4 inches by 4 inches along that corner. Okay, I'm gonna just make that square. Ba-doom. Ba-doom. That's just a 4-inch square that I just made right there. And I'm going to go corner to corner. Gonna be perfect 45-degree angle. 45-degree angle. Boom. 45-degree angle, just like that. Let me bring this up to the camera so you can see right there. Made a square, drew a line from the corners to make a 45-degree angle. There you go. 16 centimeters along from the corner. That marks 16 centimeters. Do 2 centimeters right across, perpendicular, centimeter on each side. There we go. So I got this down. So there's that corner that I'm working on, my 4-inch square, my diagonal line that's 45 degrees, out 16 centimeters out with the 2-inch perpendicular at the end. Next step is smoothly joining the ends to 41 centimeters in along the length and all the way to the corner here. Okay, so we'll do that next. So now smoothly drawing the curve, 41 centimeters from here, from the corner to here, 41 centimeters. I'm going to just make a smooth line. You could use a French curve if you want to get super precise, or you can just eye it. These are going to be the handles that tie together. Okay? And I went ahead and marked in from this corner down the same distance, 41 centimeters. So I'm going to make another smooth line, just down, merging to that 41 centimeter point. Okay? Okay friends, so we got one half of the pattern made. Let me show you what I got here. Okay? We did the handle there, going all the way across. That's going to be not the fold line, but the join line. You'll see what I mean. Okay? All the way across. This is a straight corner with a smooth curve up to that handle. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, make another set, put this pattern on top of some more paper, and cut another one. Then I'm going to tape them together at this join edge. You'll see how I tape them together in the next step. There we have it, one half of the Azumabukuro pattern, basic rectangle with one corner having the handle that's going to eventually be the tie handle. I'm going to make a second copy of this and flip it and then tape them so that the handles are on opposite sides of the large rectangle. Okay, so let's go. Okay, for this second copy, what I'm going to do, instead of going right along that the joining edge, I'm going to go about 1 inch beyond to make the second copy just a little longer. It'll just make attaching it a little easier. You'll see what I mean. So, 2 copies of the pattern. Oh, I have 2 copies of the pattern. Watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take one, flip it, just one, put them over each other, and as you can see, now I have a handle here and a handle on this side. That's what I want to do. I'm going to open them up. And you remember that 1 inch that I had extra on the second sheet? Well, I'll go ahead and overlap by 1 inch, just the 1 inch right there, and then tape down right here in the center seam. It's not a seam, sorry, just that center join. Tape down the center join. Alternatively, you could go ahead and make a huge giant rectangle. If you have enough paper, you would just make, instead of 24 inches, it's going to be 48 inches. So instead of 61 centimeters, you're going to make a rectangle that's 122 centimeters long, and then put the handles on opposite corners. So as you can see, there's one handle on this corner, and the other handle is on this corner, opposite corners of that rectangle. Okay, so now I have my full pattern for my Azumabukuro bag. And as you can see, the way I had cut it, it turns out it's all one side white, the other side Christmas snowmen. Okay, so now we will go ahead and cut out the fabric. Here's another thing. What I did with this pattern, in terms of splitting it down the middle, you can also do it with your fabric. If your fabric isn't large enough, you can split it in the middle, add a seam allowance there, and the ultimate design of your Azumabukuro is going to be a little bit quirkier. Okay, so it's a good way to get creative and use different pattern fabric pieces. Like if you have a beautiful print, but you don't have enough of this huge long section, you can cut it in half, or you can piecemeal it anywhere really. Just make sure to add that seam allowance that you're going to join it to the additional fabrics. You could even do a whole patchwork for this bag and it'll look pretty cool. Okay, so continuing on, last but not least, the 9.5 centimeter square by 9.5 centimeter square for the reinforcement points. I'm going to add .5 by 9.5 square. Cut that out. I wanted to show you a mini version of the basic concept of how this bag is structured. It's very simple, but magical at the same time. You're using like origami techniques. So here's my favorite practice material, paper towel. And what I did was I went ahead and cut it to the dimensions of the pattern of the Azumabukuro bag. And if you'll notice, it's basically 3 squares. There's a line here and a line here, and there's a square, there's a square, and there's a square. 3 squares dimensions, right? The basic concept, what you're doing is you're folding it a third, and you're going to sew just one side. So I'm going to go ahead tape it. You're sewing one side, this side is still left open, then you're taking this side, folding it over, and taping down here, or sewing down here. So I'm going to tape it, pretending that that's my sewn seam, and as you'll notice, it looks like this, right? What happens is, you open it up to create this type of structure. And then you take these corners, which are your handles, and you tie them together. And it looks like that, with the opening right here for your bag. Okay? So do you see that? That's the basic concept of it. 3 squares, fold it over, sewn once on the top, once on the bottom, pivot, open it up to create the bag structure.